What's up, everybody? Floyd here. It's another beautiful day at the asylum. I'm getting ready to change out the exhaust system on my SR 500, and we'll set it up with a new exhaust system. I've got an AFR tuning system attached to it from Dobeck Performance, and it works great. No substitute for knowing exactly what's going on in the combustion chamber of your motorcycle, especially when you modify it. The AFR gauge takes all the guesswork out of engine tuning. Going right here, we'll show you what we've done. Now you have to drill a hole in your exhaust system to mount this. The Dobeck Performance system is meant to be removable, and it comes with a insert nut that you put in there, and then afterwards you put a screw in it to plug it off. It also has the gauge here, which I have actually stuck on my speedometer with the factory suction cup that comes with the Dobeck Performance gauge. I borrowed the lithium battery out of my 750 Interceptor so that I could run this gauge. As you can see, I've already had the bike cranked up one time, so it kind of warmed up. Now it's showing a 14.5. I've also got another setup back here, an old cell phone with a sound meter. It's just set up to record this. I'm not really worried about the accuracy. I know it's not very accurate, just being a cell phone app, but it will give me a relative volume difference between this and the brand new Delcovic exhaust that I have in the shop to install on this thing when I get back. But first I want to crank it up and let you see what it's like with the stock exhaust system, but with this big carburetor on it. Remember I told you it was pig rich? We're about to see the proof of that. We'll be right back. Well, we've got the engine started up and sitting here idling. It's showing around 55 to 65 decibels. Let's walk over here. Like I said, it actually sounds pretty good. But remember me telling you that I knew it was way too rich. The air-fuel ratio is down at the bottom of the gauge. It's probably barely enough for it to run. I'm gonna take it for a ride now, because you have to test it under load. And when I come back, I'll give you a report on what I found about it under part throttle and wide open throttle. I don't have a helmet mount camera anymore, so I will have to just report that to you until I get another one. Catch you in a little bit. Well, you remember I told you I knew it was pig rich. Even at the red line in second gear, pulling it wide open throttle, the AFR gauge never got over 9.5 to 1. I don't even know how it's running as well as it does, but that would certainly explain why I've been having trouble fouling spark plugs. So anyhow, let's get out the brand new exhaust system. And as soon as this thing cools off a little bit, we'll install it and see how it works. And we'll check the AFR gauge before we do any carburetor tuning. We'll see how loud it is, and we'll see how rich it is. Hey everybody. Due to an unfortunate glitch in my camera yesterday, I lost a large portion of the video of me installing the Delcovic exhaust on my SR500. When I say Delcovic exhaust, I mean the muffler system. The stainless steel header you see here was from a eBay vendor in Thailand. The muffler is a pretty straightforward install once you get it. They don't come with any instructions, so there's a little bit of guesswork to some things. Okay. This is one of their round cans. It's 10 inches long. It's a short one. All of their mufflers seem to be based on about 3 or 4 standard shapes, and they have an intermediate pipe that goes between here and the head pipe. One nice thing about these is that they do allow you to retain the center stand. They have the bumper for the center stand. It fits very well. The only thing that really gets to be a bit fiddly or a pain in the butt to do is this bracket right here. This mount right here is for the original exhaust system, and you have to reuse it to put this muffler on. And in the kit they include this spacer and this bar to drop it down and mount it so that the muffler clears the foot peg mount and everything. But there are no instructions provided to tell you how to do so. But that's pretty much the main thing. Like I said, it's a nice looking high quality stainless steel muffler. Make sure you check this bolt here. This holds the decibel killer in place, the baffle in place. Really nice clamps on these things. They look really good. They're matching stainless steel. And they have metric hardware, which I am so thankful for. So many times you buy parts for these bikes and they come with standard hardware, which drives me absolutely nuts. It's a metric motorcycle, put metric bolts on it. But that's kind of it. I'm sorry I was not able to show you the install. I'm still not sure what happened with my camera. The video before that worked and the video after that worked. So now let's get back to the rest of the report. Okay everybody, as you can hear, I've got the new exhaust system on, the new muffler, not the full system. And it's really loud now. At idle, the decibel meter is bouncing between 65 and 75 decibels now. But the good part is, the AFR gauge has actually come up some. It's no longer pegged on the low end of the scale. Let's go take a look at it. As you can see here, it's holding right around 11, which is a little bit rich. We won't try to get it between 12 and 13. Go ahead and rev it up so the camera filming the decibel meter can get to 5,000 RPM volume. That's definitely a lot better on the AFR, but we still got some tuning to do. But right now I'm going to take it for a ride, and we'll see how it does at part throttle and wide open throttle. That's a lot better mixture wise. It tends to hover around 10.5 to 11, which is still too rich. I'm going to adjust the idle mixture screw, and we'll get that straightened out. And then I'm going off camera for the rest of the tuning, because it basically involves moving the jet needle and changing the main jet, which I may not have a smaller jet for it here on hand. So that'll conclude this, but as you can see, just by changing out the muffler to a loud muffler with no restriction, it leaned it out by 2 or 3 points. It was no higher than 9.5 at any point on the curve, and now it idles at 10.5, and it'll jump to around 11 or 12 at the most. And so that just goes to show there's no end to tuning. There's no substitute for knowing what's happening in your combustion chamber. And changing to a non-restricted exhaust will change your air-fuel ratio. Now, in all fairness, the maker of this exhaust system, Delcovic, says that you shouldn't need to recalibrate the bike. And I suppose if you were to put the exhaust system on it with the baffle in it, the decibel killer baffle in it, which I'm going to put back in it because it's way too loud for me like it is, and you were putting it on a stock bike, you might not have to. But I already knew that I started out with way too big of a carburetor and way too big of a jets in it. So we're going to tune from here, but at least now we know what we have to do. Let's see if it'll crank or if it'll embarrass me. That's holding steady at a setting of 12 to 1. Not perfect, but it'll actually bounce a little bit as it sits here and loads up some. See how the needle moves? It comes back. Tuning it further. That gives you an idea of, I used the idle mixture screw to adjust the air-fuel ratio at idle. I took it and drove it. I checked it at cruise RPM and at wide open throttle. And that means that to correct those two factors, I have to go into the carburetors. But overall, it works pretty good. I'm happy with the exhaust system. It was a little bit much put on. Like I said, I'm going to put the decibel killer back in it because it's just way too loud for my taste. But I got to let it cool off first, and then I'll finish tuning this thing up. Well, there we have it. The Delcovic exhaust. I put the decibel killer back in it. It's still loud as hell, but it's a lot better than it was. Stainless steel header pipe. I'm happy with it. It was a little more work than I thought, but I'm satisfied. It runs and starts much better now. So anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video, you found it useful, or you at least learned something. Until next time, keep riding, keep wrenching, and stay crazy.